Guys, it's Crossroads here. Today, I want to talk to you about a hidden catalyst for PayPal. There's a lot of catalysts. I'm doing homework on a video, preparing it. It might be a week out. That's going to show all the different catalysts that I'm looking for actually early next year and why I'm buying a lot more PayPal, or I plan to anyway, between now and the end of the year, even though it's already a big part of my portfolio and it has been an opportunity cost. And it's this sleepy a little announcement that at the time I thought was no big deal at all. Maybe an incremental benefit to PayPal, not too significant. And the more I look at this, the more I realize how significant and massive this really could be for PayPal. So the announcement is DP World and PayPal to collaborate on cross-border digital trade payments. And the goal is to simplify or expand access for merchants and marketplaces, simplifying cross-border payments with faster, more transparent settlement. Came out just today. Alex Chriss is certainly doing the rounds in the Middle East. There's been several Middle East type of partnerships, and they may even have more to come as well. So what exactly is this? Well, first, we need to know nothing is necessarily guaranteed. Wall Street doesn't usually move on things like this just because a memorandum of understanding is not an agreement. It's not a contract. It's just a handshake agreement where you're like, hey, yeah, we'll figure out the details later, but let's go ahead and make an announcement. Now, this part is interesting. It says they're collaborating on a first-of-its-kind digital payments initiative designed to simplify and speed up cross-border trade. Hold on to that. But it says the agreement, which could see transactions execute in minutes, that's an important piece too, rather than taking up a week, reflects DP World's continued commitment to creating a secure, scalable marketplace for digital payments. Now, you can see quotes from both of them, but like here is the CEO of DP World. And he says, our collaboration with PayPal is part of this initiative, which aims to provide our customers with reliable options for cross-border payments that are faster and more transparent than traditional systems without compromising security. By simplifying global transactions, we're enabling businesses of every size to grow, move faster, and operate more efficiently across markets. This solution marks another important step in DP World's journey to transform the supply chain and make the trade flow more efficiently. So hold on to that for just a moment. I'm not even going to look at what Alex Chriss said there. What is DP World? Well, DP World is massive in logistics. They actually have about 10% of the world's commerce flow through them. A lot of it is container shipping and major hubs, logistics hubs that they have around the world. They are huge. They are, of course, located in the Middle East, but they are a massive global company that is expanding, that offers a lot of different services as well. Have 491 different vessels in their fleet. So they're really, really big. And you can see just some of their routes, their vertical services that they offer there as well. So this is a massive company. They did, I believe, $20 billion in terms of revenue last year. They're growing all the time. Yes, tariffs are impacting them. But what's really interesting to me and what caught my eye, not at the time, but very recently, this right here that was announced back in January of 2025. DP World, this company that's in the logistics, this is well before this PayPal announcement, if you're watching this in the future, enabled multiple currency stablecoin for of global trade transactions. And so basically at the time, this was perceived, and this is their own announcement, as them launching their own stablecoin. That's not really what this is, though. So what this is basically they work with a whole bunch of different countries and a whole bunch of different people with all sorts of different currencies, and like, hey, payments is a mess when we're dealing with our clients. We're dealing with people with in Latin America and in Africa that don't have access to very good things. Middle East better, United States, Europe, they're fine. China's okay, but they're like, hey, we could do a lot better. And so they saw the opportunity. This is a year of stablecoin after all, to launch something around stablecoins. Now, specifically, they mentioned with stablecoins that this is going to be a multiple currency stablecoin system. A couple weeks later, just because the market kind of understood incorrectly that this was them launching their own stablecoin, this came out. This is actually originally with Lloyd's. It's on several other sites as well, but they plan to do a stablecoin-based payment system to boost trade. And if we go through, we can actually see a number of quotes that are very important. It says, first, that, by the way, they mentioned this at the World Economic Forum, DP World's vision for stablecoin-based payments aligns with a broader goal of reducing inefficiencies in global trade. And they mentioned here, by the way, that the stablecoin technology will ensure faster, more secure, more accessible payments and aims to facilitate seamless cross-border financial transactions, especially in emerging markets, which are regions where many businesses struggle to access global banking infrastructure. Does that sound at all familiar with today's announcement? Why, yes, it does. And there's a good reason for that as well. Now, they also say, by the way, as they go through, they say, we believe this initiative will redefine the way businesses engage in cross-border trade, particularly in regions where financial barriers have limited potential. So again, they're focused more on Latin America, Sub-Saharan Africa as well, to be eager adopters of a stablecoin-based payment solution. Now, if we go a little bit further, we can see right here, it says that they were vague about potential partners and choice of stablecoin, although it was clear that the initiative would not involve launching its own stablecoin and that it would take a collaborative approach rather than trying to fragment existing trade platforms. And so they said one of the primary goals of this initiative is to provide a universal solution that addresses the financial challenges of businesses in emerging markets. And specifically, they said, we cannot not disclose details at this stage. Our partnerships will focus on leveraging expertise in blockchain technology, regulatory compliance, and global payment solutions as well. So this, to my knowledge, is the first, it's not even a partnership, it's an MOU name that they have mentioned at all. Now, they didn't mention stablecoins necessarily, but the only way that you get at what they announced just today with PayPal of executing in minutes rather than taking up weeks, that you basically have that transparent ledger as well that they talked about too, logistics, speed, and transparency. That is all 100% stablecoin. And of course, PayPal has their stablecoin, the PayUSD stablecoin, PYUSD. We can see here that it's actually growing rapidly. It's soon to cross, I believe, about $3 billion. A lot of on-chain adoption, a lot of Web3 adoption too. Now, what's really interesting on this as well is what Alex Chris had said earlier in a Goldman Sachs Cornucopia conference. Now, we did talk about PayPal World a lot, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, but specifically stablecoins as well. He's asking if it's disrupting them, how they're using them, what's the opportunity here. And so he says, hey, the opportunity here is actually wallets, not so much stablecoin themselves, that basically regular consumers, not businesses, but consumers, they need to have a vested reason to actually change the way that they pay. And stablecoin is not providing that to users like myself. They're instead providing that for merchants, which is not enough to drive adoption. Instead, what works very well is to have a wallet that is interoperable, that is seamless, that you just use it for payments. You don't really care whether stablecoin is using it or not. As long as it just works, that's great. And that's exactly what Alex Chris talks about here. He says, if we could be that wallet, which we are, and with not only the largest wallets between PayPal and Venmo, but now with PayPal World, that we can actually leverage stablecoins as an underlying mechanism to remove friction and cost and latency out of the ecosystem. Again, keywords in this announcement today. That's a huge opportunity for us. And so I see stablecoins as just the next evolution of payments. And it's a great opportunity for us to remove unnecessary friction and unnecessary costs from the ecosystem, provide an even better customer experience from both peer-to-peer, B2C, B2B payments, and so forth. And B2B is actually really relevant here as well. So where is PayPal World coming in all of this? In essence, this is a massive wallet that they keep announcing a lot of different people and partners. In fact, they just announced one here earlier this week with Ooredoo. I might be saying that wrong. This is in the Middle East as well. A very large fintech over there that is joining in PayPal World. All right. So what's really interesting to me is that this is their second MOU that they've announced this year. The first was when they announced PayPal World as a product. They said, hey, PayPal World is out, and we're partnering with TinPay. We're partnering with UPI and several others. They mentioned that several others were likely to come, and we see confirmation of this here. But also, they said Mercado Pago, we have a MOU with, and so we're figuring out the details, but yeah, they're on board. That and this are the only two MOUs that they've done, near as I can tell, for a long, long time, at least since Alex Chris has been here. And I think at least when I was paying attention to PayPal under Dan Schulman, they didn't do MOUs at all. So why are they doing this exactly? They're announcing a memorandum of understanding instead of an actual partnership. It can take, 1 to 3 months, depending on what they're doing exactly to flesh things out. But I think that this is basically them saying, hey, PayPal World is real. Major wallets and major partners like DP World, possibly. We don't know for sure it is PayPal World necessarily, although they have World in both names. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the reason why. But they are now making a lot of announcements. They are getting a lot of massive partners. And that is very beneficial for others that are on the outside looking in that are saying, hey, this PayPal World thing is actually becoming massive. And so maybe at some point we'll see headlines, may take a couple of years, where Google Pay, Google, of course, has their wallet, Apple Pay and the Apple Wallet as well are integrated into PayPal World. Now, how do the unit economics work? I don't want to get too much into that, but I will say that Alex Chris also mentioned in the Goldman Sachs cornucopia that it's basically using whatever the merchant is using at the time. So if it's PayPal, it goes through PayPal. If it's UPI economics. And PayPal always gets a small cut as well, just because this is their platform. This is PayPal World. So is PayPal then becoming basically these rails that they're going to use across the globe for DP World, and that it's going to be empowered in PayPal World itself to connect with all these other players and wallets around the world and function on PayUSD stablecoin? I think that that's a piece of the puzzle. Now, the one thing that I will say too is when DP World announced their plans for stablecoin, they did say multi-currency. And so there could definitely be other partners here. But certainly PayPal, it's interesting if PayPal actually becomes the first of these, which I think is what's happening here right now. So keep an eye on this. This is one of those kind of hidden catalysts. There's nothing set in stone. There's nothing in writing yet, but likely we'll hear more about this perhaps, next quarter or early next year. But this is actually a lot more exciting than I thought initially. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have I drunk too much PayPal Kool-Aid? I might be guilty of that. But nevertheless, I think there's something real here. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing. And until next time, happy investing.